Hello. I hope you're doing well and that everything is groovy at your end. I wanted to record this video real quick to answer the questions you had in regards to the TREVI test or the online safety valve test. Now, the first question you've asked is the site preparation from your end. Specifically, you've asked about the scaffolding. Now, we've talked about this in our procedure. I'll show you guys again. But the thing is, we don't need scaffolding if access to the safety valve is possible, which is the case for most of the projects. Most of the projects you can get easy access to the safety valve. Okay. Main points here is that we need to access the safety valve. We need to be able to be at a height to open the cap of the safety valve, and all of this should be done safely. Okay, so it should meet your HSE requirements. Your HSE should approve this. Okay, so that's all. But to make sure that we don't need scaffolding, it would be great if you can send us videos of where these safety valves are exactly at the location for us to see and to decide and to let you know. Okay, so let me real quick show you. For example, you see in this case, access to the safety valve is quite easy. Somebody will just stand here, will open the cap up, will put the device, the Liga test device here, and we'll start the test. Okay, that's quite easy and doable. So there's no scaffolding needed. But imagine this safety valve is at a very 10 meters high. So then we need some stairs, or we need something at least to go high to the same level of the safety valve. Okay, and this one we've talked about it also in our procedure. So if I can come here and show you, okay, so let me see. Yeah, so right here, for the installation, to start the test, the safety valve should be approached carefully. Okay, so if the safety valve is approached, that's okay. But if the valve is at height, okay, or in a confined space, suitable access equipment, okay, whatever that access equipment is. Example is scaffolding, okay, but we can do other things if it's not accessible, of course, which I think it's not the case. But to confirm this point, we kindly ask you to send us some videos of the exact location of where the safety valve is at. Okay. Yeah, well, I hope that answers your first question. Okay. Now you've talked about site preparation. Now, apart from this, another thing that is important, which also we've talked about in our procedure, is the pressure point. Okay. So we need to install our pressure gauge or our pressure transmitter into your line. Okay. And it would be good to know, to save on time, it would be good to know whether you have these pressure points close by the safety valve that needs to be tested. If you have them, it makes the job much quicker and much faster. You just plug the pressure point, you'll just plug the pressure transmitter into the pressure point, and we can run the test. So for this point, we would ask you to see if there are pressure access points on your line, okay, to make the job faster. So yeah, I believe that wraps up question one. Again, for this scaffolding, it would be good for you to send us a video of where the safety valves are, and hopefully 90% chance we don't need scaffolding if your HSE approves access to the safety valve. Okay. And for this point, it would be also good for you to see if there are pressure points on your line that can be easily accessed. Okay. Now, as for the question two, you said that please submit working flow. Okay, and that's already in the procedure. Let me real quick show you. So as you can see, we have the preparation. Okay, so before doing anything, we should do the preparation, and then the installation comes. Okay, and the installation of these devices. Okay. Okay. And then the test. How do you test? And then after the test. Okay. Post-test actions. Now let me real quick give you an example on what I mean exactly here. Okay. So before we do anything, before proceeding with the test, all documentation necessary should be gathered. So this is the first step. Okay. We need the documentation, which we already have the data sheets sufficient enough. So an example, valve specification, set pressure ratings, and system operating conditions. The PSV's technical data, an example, manufacturer specification, size, type, and service conditions should be reviewed to ensure that which this is already done. Okay, this is preparation before the test and before doing anything even. So there must be a thorough review of the safety valve area. All personnel involved must be as proper protective equipment such as gloves, safety harness. So yeah. The Liga test device must be inspected. So before anything, this is just the preparation. Okay, so we need to prepare PPE. We need to look at the safety valve, ensure that everything is according to the standards and everything can be done with the Liga test device. Okay, and then the Liga test device must be inspected and calibrated before using it, before testing the safety valve, which is also something that we do before the test. Okay, and then so these are the list of equipments. Okay, these equipments, all of them should be checked. All of them should be checked and should be available at site. And this is before we do anything. So this preparation, step number 6, is done before we do anything. Okay. Anyways, then comes the installation. Okay. So now we need to start the installation process. So to start the test, the safety valve should be approached carefully. Again, we need to approach the safety valve. If approaching is easy, you can just get to the safety valve. That's fine. You just go to the safety valve. It's okay. But if it's not possible, anything like stairs or anything that can get us to the that can allow us to access the safety valve will be provided by you guys. And then so before installing the Liga test device, the cap should be removed. So after we access the safety valve, after the access is done, after we access the safety valve, we will remove the safety valve cap to gain access to the valve spindle, which is very important because the Liga test device will connect to the spindle here. Okay, and then we ensure that all the cap fasteners and bolts and everything are stored securely to prevent losing them or to prevent contamination. Okay, and then we will inspect the spindle to see if any dirt is there. If there is any dirt that will stop the spindle from coming up, we will clean this with the cleanser, with the Magnaflux cleanser here. Okay, before the test. And then we come to the device setup. So the device is set up on the piston or on the spindle after the cleaning of the spindle is done, after the inspection is done of the spindle. We put the Liga test on the spindle and we attach the Liga test device, force application device with the spindle. Okay. After this, again, we're still not testing. After all this is done, now we check the sensors of the device. Okay, and the sensors are the pressure transmitter, acoustic sensor, lift sensor, force sensors. Okay, so these sensors are all checked. Okay, the device's sensors need to be correctly attached and checked to ensure that everything is all right. Okay, we checked all the connections are tight and free from obstructions, and that everything is just like what we needed. Okay. So after we check everything is okay, then we come to connecting the sensors to the line or to the safety valve or to wherever we need it to be done. Okay, so connecting the pressure transmitter. So we'll connect this pressure transmitter to your line. Okay, your pipes. We will connect this to the pipes if you have pressure points, obviously. Okay, so we need to have pressure points. If you don't have pressure points, then we will not connect this pressure transmitter. We will work with the other sensors only. but still we need to know what's the pressure on your line, which will be provided by you in case you don't have pressure points on your line. Okay, so we have a couple of pressure transmitters. We will choose from the list of available pressure transmitters with the lowest possible range, obviously. And then we will identify the pressure tap point if you have that there near the safety valve, which most probably you will have. And then we will, and then so basically connecting the pressure transmitter and then connecting the acoustic sensor. Again, this one will be connected to the outlet of the safety valve to detect noise when the safety valve is open. Okay. Or turbulence when the safety valve is open. Okay, and then we connect the lift sensor. Okay, so this sensor is also connected to the spindle to see how much the spindle shifted upwards by the means of applying force. Okay, and then we'll apply the force, and we'll connect the force sensor, which also measures the force we're applying to the safety valve. Okay, and then point number 9. Talks about the actual test. Okay, so before force is applied or before the test is started, initial measurements of the system operating pressure, again operating pressure and temperature, should be recorded. And then using the Legatest device, force is gradually applied to the valve spindle in order to simulate an increase in system pressure. So we will apply force to pull the spindle, okay, pull the spindle upwards, which is similar to pressure increasing in your line. Okay. Yeah, obviously this talks about the test procedure. You can read this out. I don't need to go through all. But yeah, so this is the identification at the end. You'll get the force, you'll get the pressure, and you'll get the lift. Okay, because we have all these sensors. Obviously, we have the acoustic sensor also, which is not here. So as you can see, the line pressure has dropped enormously at this point, and that's because the safety valve opened at this point. Okay, so this point is identified and reported for you guys to see. Okay, and I'll show you the report right now. And these are the actions that we will do after the test is complete. Okay. Anyways, I hope that answers your second question. Okay, regarding to the working flow. Okay, and then you've asked how many time safety valve test. I don't quite get the question here. If you mean how much time it will take for a safety valve to be tested, that's around 15 to 20 minutes. But each safety valve would be tested 3 times. Okay. So you can say 3 times, each time 20 minutes. So that's around an hour for one safety valve, okay? Or less, hopefully, most probably. And this is in perfect scenario, in perfect conditions, if nothing goes wrong and if everything is as planned, okay? You've asked about third-party certificate. I'll show you the certificate we have right now. Do you need to provide accommodation? So this will be communicated with you through email. But as for point number 4 here, the certificate. So obviously we are ISO 17025 accredited, okay? As you can see in our certificates, ECAS accredited, which makes us authorized for generating test certificates in accordance with ISO 17025 standardization. So you will get a report like this one, okay, which shows the exact opening point of your safety valve, and the details of the safety valve you have, the test dates and everything stamped and signed, and you will get charts and graphs like this. Okay, so obviously here you can see the force, you can see the pressure, which is constant because we don't have pressure connection here, and you can see the sound, and the lift sensor in this case is not installed or connected. Okay, yeah, regardless, I hope that wraps up the questions you had and that everything is clear. Yep, thank you, thanks very much. Cheers, bye-bye.